bit,
Yeah,
like this first bit, that
you led it
that
all,
starts,
weren't you?
then
That'd be brilliant. Okay, I've got it. Thank you, love.
Would you like me to introduce you, Samuel, to get you started?
why do I need to be in the shop?
You're
What's
there.
best?
That's perfect, Sam.
Okay. So, everybody, just to give you an introduction, this is Samuel Hemmings. Samuel is a student at Progression House and studying media, aren't you? Is that right, Samuel? Samuel was on the first cohort for the work experience placements earlier in the year and did incredibly well, and he has designed a presentation on PowerPoint about his experience of the project, what he enjoyed and what he got up to, and he'd like to share that with you guys so that you can have an idea of what you might expect on your placement here. So over to you, Samuel.
Thank you. Well, I won't bother explaining who I am because I've just been told. So I'll say that. But I'm from North Warwickshire College, and we're explaining sort of what I've been doing here and the Work Ready Through project. First thing I'll talk about is what the project really is. It's a way to explore the working environment. So obviously, if you're in a school or a college, you might not have much work experience. This is a way to sort of learn new skills and just generally sort of get to know the working environment better. There's also opportunities to work within a team. I mean, I work by myself quite a lot. I tend to push everyone away when it comes to working in a team. So obviously, this was a good way to get myself into more of a social aspect of working because I tend to just sort of work by myself all the time. So it's good to work with someone and actually get that sort of communication going. And also to learn new skills. The mentors that you have will teach you new skills and learn things. You can learn things that sort of you wouldn't think of learning. I'm a media student, so I like to do a lot of photography-based stuff, video editing, that sort of thing. So I didn't really think I'd end up in a place like this doing things here. I'll explain that further on because I've got a slide about that. I chose Caterpillar for work experience as the main reason because I have no work experience at all, and you need work experience to do well in the working environment. It's also to try something different. So obviously, when I'm in a school environment or college, I've been in school for maybe 11, 12 years, and I've had no work experience. It's all been the same routine over and over again for years on end. So it's good to try something different and get into a different environment that suits the working environment and makes you available for the more skills and stuff. And it also looks great on my CV as well, and it will look great on yours as well. If you complete this project, you will get a better CV. Anything that can go on your CV, it's always good to take the opportunity, even if it's something you're not interested in, push through and do it because it makes your CV better. And I wasn't that sure about this, but it has turned out to be a really good experience for me. I've really enjoyed it. I'm sure you will as well. So what have I learned? I've learned why work experience is useful. I mean, when someone mentioned to me about work experience, I didn't really know why it was useful. I just sort of declined it and pushed it away. But obviously it is sort of useful and it does give you a lot more opportunities and it does go on your CV, as I just mentioned. I've also learned how the company works. I occasionally drive past factories and sort of big buildings linked to companies, and I always wonder what goes on inside, but you never actually see what goes on. You just see the lorries being, shipped in. So you never really see anything past that point, and this has really sort of opened the horizons to seeing like the shop floor is amazing. I don't know if you guys have seen that yet, but if you haven't, you will do probably, and it is absolutely amazing. And also 3D modelling in Korea. I was partnered with James, which is actually here, hello. And I was just a part of the packaging department, and 3D modelling is it's something that I was actually sort of interested in because I do a lot of that with like animation and stuff in my course already. So I was sort of, it's a different side of it because it's all to do with packaging, but it was still something that I half knew what to do with. I don't want to confuse anyone too much with pictures, but this is the software. As you see down the left hand side, you've got a lot of layers and they're all different parts of stuff that you can make. I don't want to explain too much, but that's a model that I found on Google. It's a bit more complicated than what I was doing. But as you can see, you've got all the different layers, so every single part of that, every single shape is a different layer, and you put them all together. I'm not going to explain it too much because it's just way too complicated to explain. I could spend hours on explaining that. But you have all the different tools at the top. It looks a bit like PowerPoint, to be fairly honest. It looks like a Microsoft program. It's not, but it does look like it. And that's what I was doing. It's honestly quite fun. I quite enjoyed doing it. It wasn't something that I thought I'd be doing. I thought it would be all shop floor based stuff, but that was, I'm more of a technical person, so I was quite happy with where I was placed with that. So what I actually did, the introductory tasks, I think you've already been here a week, so you've already done some tasks, you've already probably going to be doing some more tasks today, so you already sort of know what those things are. You know, I made connect towers, I sort of messed around with that for a bit, you know, got to know its mentor a bit, so I'm sure you'll be doing that in the next few days. Had to build a tour, I had a tour around the building, and I was also saying, the shop floor is absolutely phenomenal, it's massive. I didn't really think that it would be that interesting, but it really was. And I created several 3D models in Korea. They're not as good as the ones I've just shown you, but they are something. I mean, that. There was an item, a metal item on the desk, and I was told to recreate it. So I made that. That was the first part. That was the second part. I'm really annoyed the cursor's there, but I can't help that. And then I put them together to make that, and I coloured it as well. So it's not as good as the previous model, but it's certainly a start. So what did I enjoy doing? Well, I enjoyed the whole process, but exploring large-scale working conditions. So, as I've already explained, I've been in school for a long time, so obviously coming into a working environment and seeing everything on like a massive scale is really impressive. You know, seeing 10, 20 people working on one thing, and then like, you know, how everything moves along, like the processes, and how everything starts from like starts to finishes, and everything sort of works in like an organised manner. Everything's so organised, there's so many safety conditions, everything's really well planned out. And to see everything from the inside of the building, not from the outside, is a massive, massive thing. Also, again, working in a new environment, so it's taking me away from education and putting me in an environment that's completely new, meeting new people, and just enjoying myself in a new place, and meeting new people, learning new skills. I mean, I didn't think I'd be learning how to 3D model parts of these sort of things, like 3D figures and stuff. So that was just a spree. But I never thought I'd be learning how to do that. I thought I'd be just doing media stuff, so that's quite cool. And more importantly, how can it benefit you? It can enhance your communication skills. Even if you're the most social person in the world, you need a brand new sort of area of social skills in a working conditions. You can be, you know, talking with your friends and your teachers is okay, but when you're in a work environment, there's a whole different set of social skills you actually need to work in an environment. You know, it's all right having jokes and stuff, but obviously you need, you know, when you're working with a mentor, you need to have that sort of work ethic and social communication skills that are different to being in a school. So that's quite useful to learn how to do. Apprenticeships and jobs, if you do well in this, there is probably a chance you could get an apprenticeship here if you applied, have the right skills, got qualifications. Also, it does go on your CV as well, so that is definitely a massive benefit for you. Even if you don't want to work here, if you go into a job you really want to do, it is benefiting you in a big way, because if 5 people went into that job and all 4 of the people had no work experience and you turned up with work experience, you have a higher chance of getting the job, because it shows that you have the ability to do work experience and also have the work mindset to do that, so that is really good. And obviously you can prove your CV, I've sort of skipped ahead there, but that it mentions you know, your CV and how everything works with that. A few unexpected outcomes. Obviously, I was not expecting to do this presentation. I thought when I left here, that would be it. And I was invited to come back to do this. Absolutely honoured to be back here. I loved it. It was great. And also, this was really unexpected. I found out that after a week later, that was the newspaper. That is the Hinkley Times, and that is me. So I wasn't expecting that, but that was quite a nice outcome. So I have that framed in my room now. So that, I think, is the last slide. If anyone has any questions, then feel free to ask me any. Also, feedback on how I did, because I absolutely hate doing presentations. So that's about everything.
You said you hate giving presentations. It certainly didn't come across like that.
Well,
as a manager myself, I have to do presentations on a daily basis, as do team leaders as well. And some people really do struggle about standing up and, you know, putting something you know, across to somebody and keep them engaged. And I did take my eyes off you for 1 second. It was really engaging and well done.
yeah. I mean, I get nervous before presentations. I hate doing them. I've only done one other one, and that was just in front of the class. So this is a bit different.
Your PowerPoint.
I mean, I talk a lot because I have ADHD. So you know, because I have ADHD, I talk a lot. So I guess that's a positive side to it. But I still hate doing it.
You didn't go round houses. You
Sorry?
could have quite easily gone round the houses and got got lost in.
Well, I did
your
try to. When I don't know how long this has been going for, but I tried. When I read it through.
10 minutes.
Yeah, hours. Yeah. When I read it through, it went about 10 minutes at home. I don't know how long it's been.
Yes, 10 minutes, Sam, exactly.
Oh, that's fine then. That
Yeah,
Perfect.
I think you deserve a round of applause.
Definitely.
Any more questions at all, based on what I've said?
Could I ask, you said you had some unexpected positive outcomes from the project.
Yeah.
Have you got one specific highlight that you keep thinking about or remembering that you enjoy so much?
I just enjoyed the whole thing as a whole, really. I mean, I wasn't expecting to come here. I was planning to do some other work experience in a media company, working with cameras and microphones, green screens, all professional sort of media equipment.
Yeah.
And then we phoned them up, and they wouldn't answer the phone. We'd emailed them, we'd phoned them, we'd even gone to the reception of the area, and no one responded. They didn't want us. So I ended up here, which was organised through a Priory, and it's been great. So.
Brilliant, thank you.
You could potentially use that slide to encourage more people with disabilities to show them that slide on to get so they think, oh, I'll come in here rather than just ask, do you want to go? You could use something like that to give them that, oh yeah, I'll go and have a look at that.
I think you're a wonderful ambassador, Sam. You should be very proud of yourself. We are.
Yes, we are.
Yeah. Is that all done now? I think.
Yeah.
That's great. Thank you.
job.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you.